Hi everybody, this is Robin. I'm here to kind of talk you through using a great app for it's an interactive whiteboard app called Explain EDU. It used to be called Explain Everything. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to take you through the tools and show you some of the things that I've learned with this app. It's great for explaining things. It's because your voice is there as well as animation. The only clunky thing about it is turning it into a movie, but we'll get to that when we get down to the slides. Alrighty, so when you open the Explain EDU app, the one on the cover page of this presentation, this is the screen you're going to see, your choices for creating a new project. And I usually use the new. I have never tried the join or share. Underneath the new join and share options are my old projects, some things that I've already done, and anything that I have created in the past I can always go back and edit. So when I create a new project, the next thing to show up is the start with, and you have three choices: blank canvas, template, or files. I always use a blank canvas because it gives you a whiteboard as well as the opportunity to bring in pictures, files, documents, whatever you want the kids to see and whatever you want them to work with. So this is a page I'm going to spend quite a bit of time on. This is your basic blank whiteboard, and I'm going to go over the tools and how to work them. The thing that you're going to find is if you've worked with another app like Notability, it's the same tools, they work the same way. They're pretty intuitive, so I'm not going to go through in detail what each tool does, because if you know how to use a highlighter, you know how to use this highlighter. So let's get started. So the tool that I use the most is the top tool right here, and this is how you select files. And if you select that tool, you're going to see these options: existing image or video, file, clip art, image from Unsplash, no idea what that is. You can actually take a picture with your camera from within this. You can make a video. I typically use the existing video or existing or a file. So after that, we have the next tool is the move tool that just allows you to move objects on the page anywhere you want, and also allows you to size them larger and smaller just by pinching in and out. So the next two are the ones that allow you to handwrite. So we have your pencil, and my handwriting is terrible, or your highlighter. When you select one of these, you'll get a sidebar to the right that has the size of the point, color choices, and for this it's pretty limited. You can use black, red, blue, green, or yellow. The next tool is erase. So this one right here is our erase tool. So whatever you've written, you can go back and erase. The next tool is the fill tool. So if you're doing something with shapes and you want to fill it with a particular color, then that's your fill bucket. Then we have shapes, and these again pretty basic, not a ton of options: squares, circles, stars, short lines, but pretty basic. And again, you can have a border with no fill, you can have a fill with different color border, you just have to play around with it. Okay, the next one that I use the most, and this is your text tool. So wherever you draw the text box is where your text is going to be. The standard keyboard will pop up with the font size. You can do bold, you can do italics. It's not a whole lot different than writing in Pages. Next we have the arrange. So this allows you to put, move things forward, front to back. Obviously the X means get rid of it. This next one is the kids' favorite, is your laser pointer. So if you have an image that you want the kids to really focus on, then you select the laser pointer. And let's see, what do we want? I can use a lightsaber. Let's use a lightsaber. And so if I want to have the kids look at something, I can use my lightsaber and I can highlight anything like that, or I can change it to just a dot. So if I want the kids to focus on an image, I can use just the regular laser point light. The next tool is important because this is just like your inspector tool in Pages, the format paintbrush this allows you to edit. It allows you to change things with images, move things forward and backwards, flip things. It's the same sort of format editor in Pages. Then we have the undo half loop, just like any other thing is to undo. And the bottom one, to be totally honest with you, I have never used, so I'm not even going to talk about that one. So then the next thing I want to show you are at the tools at the bottom, and I'm sorry, I'm probably going to make you throw up. So I'll change my color. So right here, this allows you to do the magnification. So like if I want to zoom in on something on a document or a picture, I can zoom in and it will zoom in during your animation. This is the key right here to making this be more than just a keynote. By using audio and moving things on this whiteboard, you're actually creating an interactive, moving document. If you don't want to record your voice, all you have to do is tap on the microphone. You'll get an X through it. So your images, your words, everything that you put on the whiteboard will still be active and animated. Your voice will just not be part of the presentation. I prefer this because I hate being videotaped. I hate having my face showing. I hate being photographed. So with Explain EDU, the kids can hear my raspy peppermint patty voice, but not have to see my face. This tool right here is just simply how you add new slides. And typically it'll just be one whiteboard slide after another. And then lastly, last couple things up here, this is the generic document name for every new project. It's called Whiteboard. It's a pull-down menu so that when you select that, you can change the name of your project. The other thing about Explain EDU is it has a thing called Quick Save. This is one of the few apps that I know that requires that you save it before you push it out as a movie. And if you want to push your final product out as a movie, which you kind of have to, this is your export. And this is the only part of the app that I find to be a little bit clunky, but it's been working for me. I've created about 6 videos since we started being at home, and the only problem is the lag time for processing. So what I'm going to do is just keep going through each of the tools slowly, and then as we go through and I push this out to you guys, we can work out any bugs together if you get stuck. So here's just a quick way to name your project. You'll notice that we're in the whiteboard pull down menu again, and where it's grayed out and you type in whiteboard, when you see whiteboard, all you have to do is double tap that and change its name. And I just kind of blurred it out, but that's your quick save, and you need to do that frequently. So from here you see I've pulled down the whiteboard menu and I've renamed this project Teacher Guide. And again, before I do anything else, I make sure I do a quick save. For this blank slide, I'm going to select the top tool, which is the add a file tool. And it says at the top, Insert New. And then you'll notice you can take a picture right within Explain EDU. You can take a video, you can add a browser. Existing image and video is super easy. That's anything that's on your camera roll. I'm going to be adding a file, and all of the files that I'm going to be using are in my Google Drive. Okay, I'm getting ready to put a file on my whiteboard, so I selected the top tool, the little document with the little slanty one and the plus, and then it asked me what I wanted, and I said file, and then when you choose that, it'll ask you to choose source. So the source that I use is my Google Drive. That's where I'm keeping everything for this remote learning. So here's my Google Drive selection of documents. So the one that I wanted to put in there is, you'll see it's circled in red, and it's called a mathematical tug-of-war. You select it, it grays it out, gives it a blue check mark, and then you come over and you hit the import button. Then from there it will ask you, do you want it on a separate slide? And typically I do, because I want this to be fairly slow and sequential and piece by piece. So here's a document that I imported from my Google Drive. It's a piece that I just shared out with my kids today called the Mathematical Tug of War. So now what I want to do is use my different tools, the pencil, the highlighter, the shapes, the text tool, the laser pointer, whatever, and I can mark this up, and then you'll see that whether you're using a photograph or you're using a written document, you can mark it up, and then the kids can see that, what you're thinking. So the first tool I'm going to use is the pencil tool, which is the third one down, and I'm just going to make it blue, and then I'm just going to use I'm just going to handwrite. So this would be 4 mushers equals 5 dogs, and then 1 polar bear equals 1 musher plus 2 dogs. So I can handwrite any additional information if I'm teaching a skill. If I want the kids to focus on particular words or ideas in the text, then I might choose my highlighter. So I might say 4 mushers, 5 sled dogs equal strength, result is a tie. I might say Ivan the polar bear, 2 sled dogs and 1 musher, it's a tie. So I can highlight the keywords. If I made a mistake, the next tool under that is eraser. I don't need to really use that because I'm not making mistakes. I'm not going to use the fill tool because I haven't used any shapes that I want to fill. So the next tool underneath, you'll see a circle and a square. That is your shapes tool. And so maybe I just want to have a star, and I want it to have a red outside, and I can just put it anywhere, and I can bring it down, and I can, whoops, get over there, and I can, so anytime you want to make a second one, you can either duplicate it or you have to go back to your shapes tool. After that is your text tool, which is the capital A. So I'm going to tap on my capital A, and I'm going to draw a text box at the bottom of my page, and you'll see it's kind of purple. And then from there, your keyboard's going to pop up with all of your fonts and your bold and your italics and your underline. So I'm going to change this to Marvel font, and I'm going to say no way does one, get over there, you, polar bear equal that. Now I noticed I made a mistake. I have, it looks like iPolar, so I'm going to push down my space bar, and I'm just going to drag my cursor over, release the space bar, hit it once, and then I'm done. I've made my correction. And then to get rid of the blue text box, I just tap into the whiteboard, and there's my text. And again, remember, you always want to go up, and you want to save it after you're done talking. So the last couple things I'm going to show you. Here's the laser pointer. I can choose a finger, I can do an arrow, I can do a red dot. The kids really like the lightsabers, but I'm not 5 most days, so I'm just going to use the red dot. And if I want the kids to see what a musher looks like, and then come over here to a dog, and here's the polar bear, and then I can put, next to that sentence, then I've used the laser pointer to highlight what I want the kids to see. Next, you'll see the inspector. I have 3 options. I can arrange, I can edit, I can lock. The edit's what we do in every app we use. You can copy and paste, duplicate, group, ungroup. You can set it as a background. When you're using arrange, bring things forward, bring things back, align left, center, stuff like that. And lock is you have to select something and you want it to lock it so it doesn't move on your page. So if your presentation is done, then your next step is first go to this share icon, the purple with the little bent share, and then you have your choices to export it as a video, a document, an image, and a project. And I'm finding for Google Classroom and doing this remote instruction, the video choice is ideal. The only problem is this is where Explain EDU gets a little clunky. With everybody in the universe on the internet, it's taking quite a while for these videos to be processed. So you've selected to make a movie and you have a whole bunch of options. You can save it to Google Drive where it will save eventually as, in this case, teacher demo or whatever I called it, teacherguide.mov. You can save it to your camera roll where you can push it out in other ways, or you can share it directly to YouTube. I've been playing around with the YouTube share because right now that seems to be the fastest, and then you can, once you've got it into a YouTube option, then you can just share the YouTube link and then you can put it on your web page or you can put it in Google Classroom, whatever works. So that's kind of the down and dirty. I hope this makes sense. I know this last slide's looking kind of messy because you're seeing layer after layer after layer of the different screens that I've screenshotted. But take your time with it. Do something simple to play around with it. I played around with it. I mean, I used to use Explain Everything for years and years and then didn't get to it. They've changed quite a bit of it. You know, a couple hours and I was back making short instructional videos. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, I try to answer them. You want to send me an email or a text or whatever. Good luck, and I hope to see everybody real soon on the other side.